Welcome to the Rent to Rent Success podcast, the only podcast entirely dedicated to helping you achieve rent to rent success. We talk about the ethical way to get you started in property without buying it. This is our place to inspire each other to believe bigger, to be bolder, and to be game changers for good. Property investors and sisters Stephanie and Nicky Taylor are your guides on this exciting ride. Let's start up the engines and get ready to fly. Hello. Stephanie here. Again, welcome to episode 31 of Ask the Angels, where we answer your rent-to-rent questions. Now, if you'd like to have your question answered, join us on Clubhouse. Do you know about Clubhouse? It's the new social media audio-only app. And at the moment, we're meeting Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. We've got a great series of, we're live with you on Clubhouse every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. But do check us out if you're not listening when this is first being broadcast, because it's at renttoRentsuccess.com/Clubhouse. And you'll be able to see any upcoming dates there and also add them to your diary. So let's get into today's Ask the Angels episode. You know, I got a question. It's from Sandra, and she asked it at one of our rent-to-rent strategy sessions. And she said, what are the biggest mistakes you see beginners make in rent-to-rent? Such a good question. It inspired a talk I did at Rent to Rent Live. I mentioned it last week. And I've split this over 4 episodes because there was so much in it. I spent days writing it out and it's really interesting. So last week was part 1. Today is part 2, and you'll see in future weeks we've got parts 3 and 4. So the second biggest mistake I see is, drumroll please, I should actually be doing some drum rolling, relying on sources. Now, sources, before sources start throwing rotten tomatoes at me, let me be a bit clearer. The big mistake I see people making is relying on sources to analyze the deals. Let me go back a step. If you're wondering what is she talking about? Sources? What? A property sourcer finds properties for people. And that sounds great, doesn't it? While you're busy at work, your sourcer will be finding you the perfect rent-to-rent HMO deal. And all you need to do then is pay a fee. And if you have little time, but you have more money, that can be a great way to do things. But don't rely on a sourcer to analyze the numbers for you. You need to take every deal and make sure the numbers work for you before signing anything or paying a penny. Because, let's be honest, sometimes sources are new to property. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes they may not know what all the costs are in running a rent-to-rent property. And other times, because they're selling you a product, then there is that temptation there for them to make it sound better than it actually is. But you know, and I know, that numbers don't lie. Okay, so you need to know your numbers. And I'm going to put this out there as well, because I have seen it myself. Some unscrupulous sources prey on newer investors who are keen to get started in rent-to-rent. They make promises of properties cash flowing well over £1,000, and they have very high sourcing fees, sometimes £4,000 or more. We get calls from investors who've bought deals like this only to find that they're barely cash flowing, and sometimes, believe it or not, they're losing money. It's ridiculous. It frustrates me so much. So how can you protect yourself? How do you know all the costs? How do you know whether a deal will work, even when you're a beginner just starting out? The answer is the Rent-to-Rent Success Deal Analyzer. It gives you total clarity. Even if you're not a spreadsheet person, I want to reassure you, it's simple to use. This is so important because when you get this right, your business works well and success is easy. When you get it wrong, it costs you money. More importantly, it costs you peace of mind. So don't guess and know for sure. Know for sure. You probably understand in theory just how important this is. I think we all do. But I then see so many people just working out the numbers in their heads. No, I want to urge you to take 5 minutes to put the figures into a deal analyzer. Certainly, do a ballpark in your head. But before you exchange, before you sign anything, before you pay anything, take a few minutes, put the numbers in the deal analyzer and know for sure. And you can get the Rent-to-Rent Success Deal Analyzer on our website at renttorentsuccess.com/deal analyzer. And we made this available. It's in the shop there, and it's got everything you need. It's got a guide on how to use it and so on. So you've got the analyzer, fully customizable for your business. Add your logo in there, change the formulas if you want. But it's got everything set up so you can add all the details. It reminds you all of the costs, and so that you don't miss anything. And so it really is worthwhile. So in summary, the second biggest mistake I see beginners make is relying on sources. And yes, you can use sources to find the deals, but don't rely on sources to analyze your deals. They want to sell you something, which means they may not have your best interests at heart, but you have your best interests at heart. And analyzing your deals gives you certainty, and it saves you time, money, and stress. And of course, if you're in the Rent-to-Rent Kickstarter program with us, you have the Rent-to-Rent Success Deal Analyzer. It's in M5.2A, along with 2 real-life videos, examples using it, and all the guides and information that you need. And of course, when you're in Kickstarter, we'll analyze your deals too. So that was mistake number 2. I'll be back next week with mistake number 3. And if you're a beginner and you'd like more of the 6-step rent-to-rent success system, it's in our free rent-to-rent success guide and masterclass. Now, we've had so much amazing feedback on the masterclass. It's a 90-minute free training. I think you're going to love it. And you can get that at renttorentsuccess.com/guide. Excuse me. So today has been a good one. Join me next week for the 3rd biggest mistake people make. I wonder if you can guess what it is. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you would like more, we've written the #1 best-selling book on rent-to-rent. You can find it at renttorentsuccess.com/book. Reviewers on Amazon have described it as the best rent-to-rent HMO book, and also as a definitive reference guide and inspirational. Take your next step today and buy the book. You can find it at rentsuccess.com/book. And I'll see you again next time. Until then, remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer.